Hi, in this video I'm going to be covering mask, viewport matching, and presets. Masks are quite useful to allow you to include or exclude objects or collections from having a specific post of effects applied to them, and you can control quite easily some of the bloom, flares, and tone mapping effects. The viewport matching allows you to match the viewport resolution to exactly the output resolution. So useful for some of the pixel-based effects like bloom and flares. And also, this feature can be used to have a better accuracy when you're adjusting materials, therefore fills in the viewport. And the last feature we're covering is presets to allow you to save different variations of your post effects for later retrieval and to compare different options. Here I've loaded a BMW scene. I've already had some of the post effects applied, and I recommend you go and check some of my previous K-Cycles post effects on my channel. Let me enable preview render. I've already enabled the bloom. The blooms appear all over the scene. Now look at the actual effect alone by going to blend 1. So this is the actual area that has the bloom effect being applied to. So in this case, we want to concentrate the bloom just on the headlights. Select the headlights. We go into the max section and click on the plus. It automatically would control the effects to be applied only on those headlights. We have the minus, which removes the mask completely. Go back to plus, reverse the effect except for the selected mask. So let's go back to normal. Go back to the default blend mode. We're going to let's change also the output resolution to a 4K image. So this is our final render. We can see what we have on the viewport. The big difference on the flares and the bloom effect, much smaller than what we see in the preview render. So this is the issue that viewport matching is going to help us solve. We go now to this checkbox and enable viewport match to output resolution. The viewport is resized to the actual output resolution. We also have some adjustment that we can do with the viewport matching. We can do some panning horizontally, so you can have the full effect close to it. You can do horizontally, and you can pan vertically to get it into your viewport area. It's a 4K image, so it's going to be a lot larger than the area of your preview window. Now adjust some of the effects to make it the proper size for this resolution. Increase some of the bloom size and power. You can go a little bit more. Increase the amount of glare power. And you can always go back and forth with the vertical resolutions and bring it to the area that you want to view. Tone down some of the softness on it, some of the thinness level. Once you've adjusted to the size that you would like to have, to another final render. And as you can see now, we have exactly the same size of flares and bloom on our final render. It looks correctly for that 4K resolution. Another advantage of working in this mode is that to work in the 4K or 8K on the compositor will be very slow for bloom and flares. You can also use it for adjustment your materials, your textures, accurate final output. And when you're done adjusting your settings, you can turn this mode off. So let's bring another example. This is from my previous ultra lighting video, preview render. Work with a lighting situation that's more closer to at the end of the day. So we can go back to light groups, enable tone mapping, lower some of the lighting effect on it. And now let's go to post effects, put some bloom on the light bulbs. We enable bloom and flares. Let's adjust the power. Bloom level lower so I can the amount of bloom effect on those lights. The bloom is now showing up. We'll go back and do our mask. We select the individual, shift select one, the next one, click on the plus side, and that would add that mask. And then we can see now that the bloom effect only covers this area as opposed to what we had before, which was if I deleted two masks. So we can see that definitely helps. Since we have multiple selected 2 items, we'll be adding those 2 on the list. Do a quick viewport match. It's going to look properly for the output resolution that we have. Let's move it close to the panning. Maybe adjust it a little stronger. I'm happy with that adjustment. I can turn off the viewport match, and at the same time I could go back in the blend mode back to 0.5. Now let's do a final render. We have our nice bloom effect on that lighted scene. And now let's save this post effect lighting setup. Create a new, call the preset section. We can call it dusk interior. Click on the plus. We have added dusk interior. Let's create a variation where we want to focus our attention on the table. And let's go into the tone mapping section. Focus the attention on the table by changing the amount of saturation stand out compared to the background. And let's change saturation just to 0. Let's add the collections to part of that mask. We have the table. Click on collection table, add it. Books. We can add that collection, and let's add also glass and pencil. And let's add this picture by just selecting it and clicking the plus. Selected those 4 items. The importance of those items be in color, the rest in black and white. Use the invert. Don't want the picture to be part of it. As you can see in this drop down, I can select that item that I want to remove, and you click the minus on it. Do a final render now. And as you can see, we have a perfect match of our preview render. Let's save this also as a different preset and go back to the global preset here. If you go at this level, the preset is for all of them, all the post effects together as opposed to individually. Call it dusk interior black and white table. And hit the plus. I have created 2 presets. We can quickly switch between the black and white. And you keep adding variations by just keep adding and changing some of the settings on the post effect area. Thanks for listening. See you next time.